Hey, good day. It's Leif Welhaven, Reinvention with Leif Welhaven. We got a great show for you today. I've got one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, all the way from Red Lodge, Montana, people, Sheridan Cotrell from Legacy Consultants. This gal is a legend, at least in my mind, but she really is a legend and an icon in the business world. And she's going to talk today about all kinds of different things, but reinventing her business, helping reinvent other women, empowering women, how she's pivoted, changed, adapted through COVID and beyond, really adjusting her business to be nimble and be ready to change at all times. And so we're gonna talk with Sheridan. I'm excited to get into it. So we're just gonna jump right in. We are live on Facebook, so if you do have questions, comments, concerns, whatever, for myself or for Sheridan, just drop us a comment. We'll do our best to get to you. So welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Leif. I never get to be on this side of things, so it's fun to be able to tell my story and to be able to share this time with you today.
So that's pure class right there. It's so funny because I know a lot of people, and people always say, do you know that Sheridan gal? I'm like, I don't really know her that well, but I'm going to have her on my podcast, and I'm going to get to know her very well. So thank you again for being here.
Thanks.
So we're obviously the whole theme of our show, this show is about reinvention of health, wealth, finances, relationships, organizations, churches, you name it. Everybody's going through different parts of different reinventions in their life. And some people are very open-minded and embracing reinvention. Some people are very against it and like it's resistant to change. And I think they sometimes get lost, right? Or they get stuck, or we're going to talk about getting stuck. But anyway, so for our audience, so they can get to know you a little bit as a person and as an entrepreneur and as a consultant, tell us where you were at maybe 5 or 10 years ago.
Sure. So I feel like I've always been sort of an out-of-the-box thinker, and I graduated with a degree in speech pathology. I'm a speech pathologist by trade, and I just wasn't okay just going and making my $50,000 with the benefits and all the things. And so really right out of the gate, I became a consultant. I really found my niche. I marketed myself and really became a six-figure earner just as a consultant, as a solo entrepreneur. And I feel like that was something that I am really proud of. I had a lot of debt, and so it was good to be able to do that. And that was sort of how I made my name, like as a consultant. And I talked about this with Leif, like I was a consultant before it was cool to be one, I think. And so I've just always had a heart and a passion for just doing things your own way and just really paving your own path. And so I feel like I really brought that energy and brought that into which became Big Sky Women, which is a passion project of mine, and became more of a community here in Montana.
Awesome. No, I totally dig that. And I think what you just touched on was really, really powerful about, kind of carving your own path, finding your own way. And, I was that way too. I used to have a great job. I tell people all the time, I was an amazing employee. There was a 15-year time frame where I didn't even own a car because I was always driving a company car. The benefits were all good, but I always wanted more, but I didn't really know how to get it. I wasn't around, I didn't grow up around entrepreneurs. I didn't have a lot of entrepreneurs in my life. I always wanted to be one, but I was like a little scared. So maybe speak to that. Are there women out there that come into your fold, come into this mastermind and into your group and into your life that are like that? They're like, man, I really want to do more. But like I was saying, women in particular, I'm not picking on gals, so this is really a shout out to gals. I admire women, but they take so much on, especially moms, right? They got to deal with the kids, and they got to deal with the cooking and the cleaning and the husband. Oh yeah, and the PTA and the holidays and the mother-in-law. I mean, all these things, plus maybe run a business, and there's just so much pressure that we as a society put on them, but they also put a lot of it on themselves. So what's your message to women to maybe step back and kind of reevaluate and reinvent?
Yeah, I love this piece because I feel like I see so many women go through the same sort of transformation that I had to go through and really drop all the balls, right? Like as women, we carry so much, and I feel like I would be self-labeled as a recovering perfectionist trying to carry all the balls, do all of the things, do everything perfectly. And we deal with so much guilt. Like, I have 5 kids, I'm running a business, I'm trying to be the perfect wife, do the PTA, do all of the things. But here's the thing we have to do is stop trying to control everything that's not ours to control. And I remember I was sharing this story with Leif earlier, and I feel like it was such a pivotal moment for me in my own life. And I know that there's women out there that can relate to this. Is I was at a conference and they were talking about this woman who wears busy like a badge of honor, right? I know women can relate to this. Is they talked about her, and she's doing all of the things perfectly, right? Like, she's got whatever it is. And women, I know, can relate to this because I see it over and over and over, that women are stressed, they are unhealthy, they are trying to do too many things, and they are wearing busy like a badge of honor. And I literally just was in tears. I was like, I can't believe I'm this person. And so that started, like, probably my first reinvention started in that moment of, like, I'm going to drop this frickin' cape and I'm going to start doing things right. And part of doing things right is letting things go. And I mentioned this to Leif. It started to be a change of, like, my schedule doesn't have to be built. Every minute of the day doesn't have to be scheduled. Is that the white space and, like, making room for things that really matter, and, like, businesses and lives and things are changed, like 4 or 5 tasks in a month at a time, and you don't have to work yourself to the bone to create a legacy. It's about something totally different. And so that really, I feel like, for me, was my first reinvention.
Well, that's powerful. I love that, because it's true. It's got to start from the inside out. And so our message, a lot of it today, is to women, and even the husbands and the spouses of women, to give women some grace and some mercy, and all these moms that are out there just killing it. And let's take some pressure off them so they don't get so burned out, and they can say no to other things and say yes to themselves, right?
Yes.
Self-care is not selfish, excuse me. And so I think that's important, and I'm so glad that we touched base on that, because I see so many women. I can remember my mom, my grandma, all the women that have been in my life, and man, they work so hard to be perfectionists, and I sit there and go, gosh, you really don't have to be, but I get it. So thank you. That's a really good. So obviously you did this reinvention of yourself, and so I talk about this a lot with not only my clients but with my podcast guests, and when I do speak, is that I think people have to define their why. Why do we get up in the morning? Why do we move to Red Lodge? Why do we start a consulting business? Why do I want to lose weight? Why do I want to tighten up my finances? Why do I do what I want to do? And so people, I always say, if the why is big enough and defined enough, then the how doesn't really matter. You'll figure out a way to get it done, right? So for you, which I'm sure you have lots of whys, and they probably have changed over the years, but why do you do what you do? Why did you decide to reinvent?
Yeah, I feel like part of my own reinvention is really just a catalyst to change women's lives. Like, part of the community building and, like, pouring into women is, like, I really wanted to save them from some of the things that I'd gone through, and really save them from some of the failures and from some of the things that I'd experienced, hitting a glass ceiling, the income barriers,
Sure.
just some of the things I think that just women experience in general. And I really just love the idea of, like, digging in and building my own thing. And so I wanted people to be able to experience that, but really have a mentor and a guide to be able to do it, because it's really hard to go at it alone. And I feel like, for me, like, reinvention happens, like, when you hire a guide, when you have a mentor, when you have someone helping you along the way. And I know the up level in me has only happened when I've hired someone, when I've, really made a commitment to myself that I'm going to go to the next level. And so I just really feel, and I told you this earlier, but I feel like as women, if we can get time down, if we can get energy level down, if we can get money down, like, we can get this whole thing figured out.
Right.
And it becomes a lot more simple than it needs to be. And I feel like I see so many women stuck in jobs that they don't love. They're doing things things that they don't care about. And for me, like, I feel like our lives should be built around things that give us joy, like we're here on this earth to do something that we really love. And we also should be finding tremendous joy in this journey. Like, we're only here for a short time. And so I just feel like it's my gift to the world to help them discover their gift and to how to wrap that up into a pretty package and learn how to hand that over to people. And what I find that women do a lot of the time is compartmentalize. Like, they have this hobby and they're a mom and they might write a book and they are doing this. But the true gift is like being able to put this all together into a package and really learn how to hand it over to people.
Sure. Yeah, no, I love that. I think that's important. You got to have the why, and you've got to have some tools and empower these people, which I think is really, really powerful. So I always like to ask people about a support system, right? So you've done a lot of it yourself, but obviously you had some people that have helped you along the way. Like, it could be a coach, it could be a guide, it could be your husband, it could be your family. So for you, who's been your support system, your rock that's been able to help you reinvent over the years?
Oh man, it takes so many people to run the way that I do. So my husband, of course, is amazing. He always has my back, and he sees me making having these huge visions, right? And he has to kind of just like, yeah, you know.
Sure. He's an encouraging husband.
Yes, he's an encouraging husband. He's a modern day husband. My family is amazing. I have 5 kids, and they, I feel like I'm teaching them and guiding them to right alongside. They're watching me go after my dreams, and that's something that I feel like is so important as a woman, as a family member. And I feel like I have a stepmom and a mom and a dad and a stepdad, and they all just like dig in and help me if I need to travel or if I need to speak or if I need to do anything. And so I just feel like that has been just such a powerful thing for me. It takes a village, and I have a really important village. And even going back, like, I'd love to speak to just like, I have a dad who's an entrepreneur. He's a rancher. And that is the foundation of like who I became. And my mom is in education, so I kind of have had like the best of both worlds with my parents. So I just want to give them a shout out. I'm a wild, fun, joy, visionary person, and they've had a long road with me. So
they got to reel you in, keep track of you, keep it rolling. But no, that's important. Like you said, it does take a village, whether you're raising children or you're building a business or and reinventing. So no, I think that's huge.
Can I give a piece of advice? So someone gave me.
I wish you would. Please do.
Someone gave me this advice, and before you can hire a $20,000 coach or a $5,000 coach. But I really want you to think about the A players. Like, think about people that like make a huge impact on this world. They hire coaches. They hire people to clean their house. They hire people to help them do things. I just really want you to think about that. But in the meantime, that you should have this unwritten board of directors. Like, I really want you to think about this. I had a really powerful trainer that like helped me launch Big Sky Women. Like, she was so instrumental in like what that became, and I was paying her to train me, but like we had a ton of time to talk. Just think about that. Like, everyone should have those people in their lives that they really trust and that like they bounce ideas off, that they talk about their dreams to. And if you don't have that, like, you better get that, because that everybody needs those people in their life.
Boy, that's really good. I talk about that coaching piece a lot. I used to work for a large telecommunications company, and we did a lot of coaching, like sales coaching and customer service coaching and just people coaching and things like that. But this is years and years ago. And so just the word coaching or having somebody coach me or mentor me at that time had kind of a negative connotation, like, I need a coach, I need a mentor, what am I doing wrong? Whereas today, it's totally different. It's totally shifted. And if you don't have a coach, if you don't have a mentor, I think you're missing out, right?
Yes.
Another set of eyeballs, another set of ears, like you said, to bounce things off, to have that relationship with someone to hold you accountable, right? All those things are hugely important. So let's say that another question might be is, let's say I'm a gal and I want to start a business, and I would love to hire somebody to do all these things, but man, we're barely making it by now. what are some things, some baby steps in the beginning of what they can do to where they can start to ramp up and then, of course, then level up and continue to grow? But how does that look like in the beginning? Because I'm sure there's gals that are watching that go, man, I'd love to be like Sheridan. I would love to have my business rocking and rolling. I got somebody to clean the house and take care of the kids and cook, but I'm not there yet. So what's a good message for them?
Yeah, what I love about, I think there's 3 really powerful things. I like to do everything in 3. So one is like, talk to people. Like, people are the most powerful thing in our business. So the more people we talk to about our dreams and what we want and what we have for them, the more people we're going to convert to sales. So I know selling is like one of those taboo sort of topics with women. And I feel like I've always wanted to talk about selling because I feel the more connections we make with people, the more we talk about what we do, the more conversions we're going to have, the more money we're going to make. And that is so important. Like, get good at connecting with people because we're all, no matter what we do, we're all in the people business. So the more you can understand people and how to relate to people, that's your number one. And track those people, man. I mean, that I feel like that's where people fail these days. I always give this example, like people try to sell me things all the time. And one of the things I always look for is, are they following up with me? Like, they try to sell me something,
right,
but are they following up with me? If you track people and you never forget about them and you let them know you're thinking about them, they're 20,000 times more likely to buy from you. So please, like, if you're wanting to have a connection with them, you know you can help them, let them know. That is my biggest, I feel like people miss that these days with the whole social media and all of the different ways to interact.
Really good.
That is what the better you know people and the more you follow up, the more consistent your income's going to be. The second thing is networking. I mean, we do a lot of social networking these days, but there is nothing better than meeting someone in person, having a cup of coffee, even the social networking, like get on Zoom, have a conversation, meet their family. It's gold. And so networking is number 2. And number 3 for me is confidence. We have so many women that are not confident in what they have to offer. So if you can work on that skill and you can do those 3 things, you're going to make a huge impact in this world.
Wow, that is powerful. I love that. So people, the confidence piece and the networking piece, I mean, all that is so key. And I love that because I'm a good networker and I feel like I'm a good salesperson, but I'm like relentless when it comes to following up. And so I think I probably drive people crazy, but I always tell them, hey, the reason I'm following up is you're important to me and your business is important to me and I want to help make you successful. Plus, this gives you a snapshot of what you're going to get when you hire me, is I'm going to be following up and following through. And I'm sure in the back of their minds, they're like, man, this guy is driving me crazy. But yes, that's the kind of guy I want on my team advocating for me. And so I agree. I think those are all right on point.
I think the heart-led, like so many people are like, oh, but I'm heart-centered. I don't want to bother you, or I don't want to bother anyone. But if you use that, like you're on my mind,
sure,
I'm thinking of you, like that is so powerful. Use that to your advantage. Like, people want to be heard. They want you to listen to them. They want you to be thinking about them. And so I feel like that for me has taken me further really than anything else.
I talk about that a lot too. Piggybacking on what you just said, is I always think I'm a pretty smart guy. I can figure things out. If you teach me or if I see it, I can usually figure it out. So things to me on an intellectual base level, I can wrap my head around things. But I found that once it goes from like here, it makes that like 13-inch crossover to my heart. Then I can lead with the heart, and it comes spilling out with passion or whatever it is that I'm talking about or doing. All of a sudden, it means more not only to myself, but it means more to the receiver, right?
Well, think about if you make decisions, and if you get people to make decisions in right brain instead of left brain, they're way more likely to be lifelong clients.
Ooh, right brain, left brain, lifelong clients. I totally dig that. Another question that I had for you, Sheridan, obviously I know you've got some people on your team, and so I would love to hear specifically kind of what's happening in your business with the mastermind. For people that do get involved, what are they getting? What happens in that? I know you have some team members that help you deliver this, but if they become part of this mastermind, what do they get? What happens there?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that because I'd love to talk about the shift from Big Sky Women to Legacy Consulting. So what I was talking about with Big Sky Women is it was a heart-centered community. We had a monthly membership for like $30. And what we found was that people that pay $30 for a membership, we had like $30,000 worth of courses behind this $30 membership, is that people weren't taking advantage of what there was to offer. And we couldn't figure it out. We were like, we are like busting our tails here coming up with this content and nobody's taking advantage of it. So we went back to the drawing board and really we're feeling like we needed a rebrand. And what we came up with was really the unmembership membership. And what was born was this Legacy Consulting. And it really does take all of my gifts, all of my partner coach, Scotty's gifts. She's a former attorney. I'm a former speech pathologist turned consultant, and really provides for them this framework of these courses that we've created where we're like guiding them through it. And it really does focus on, getting them the wealth piece and the money piece, getting them out of their own way with the self-sabotage, getting them the foundations that they need, like we talked about, the time, energy, money piece, just getting that all down. And it really is for the woman that like is to six figures, wants to build further than that. And it's just something phenomenal. So we kind of went from anybody can be with us to we have this unique ability to serve this woman, right? Like she's already successful. She may have like white knuckled it to six figures. Like she can build a six-figure business, but to build the seven figures is something totally different. And people hire consultants for more joy, more freedom, more fun, more money. Those are the only reasons. And those are the people we want to serve, are the people that want those things.
Yep, that's I always talk about that with clients, is trying to identify your target market, right? And so I suspect when it was $30 a month, it just doesn't hurt bad enough, right? It's not that much of it's kind of like the monthly donation to the gym. It's only $50. If it was like $100, I'm like, okay, I better get my butt there. Same. Obviously, it's different, but similar. Like you've got to have a little more skin in the game, and I think if people who are investing in their future are going to invest in their future, right? So that makes sense to me. I've got a question from one of the people in the call on the Facebook Live. She says, it would be great if there was a confidence building course for women. So speak to that a little bit. Do you guys talk about that a lot in your current?
Yes, we do. And we do have a confidence building course. So whoever that is, we can definitely tell you how you can get access to that. I feel like confidence, like we said earlier, is one of the foundations. Like where I see that women, especially if they want to build their own thing, and they need confidence. And I feel like one of the things that we see where people sabotage themselves is they just don't do it enough. Like even think about this podcasting thing, or like going live on video or speaking or anything that we're going to do that's out of our comfort zone, is we have to do it. Right. We have to gain the confidence to do it. And it's sort of like that old adage, right? I talk about this a lot when I'm speaking, is like, you want to write, like what should you do? You should start writing. If you want to speak, go speak for free at a church. Like there's ways to get confident at things before you like start getting paid the big bucks for it. So I think just kind of taking a step back from like, this is where you want to be, but like to get there, you have to do the kind of these steps to get the confidence to do it.
And I think having a coach and a mentor and a group mastermind, a group of people, the village, if you will, they're always going to be building you up and lifting you up. I call them their elevators. They're always lifting you up. Those surrounding yourself with people like that is powerful, right? I mean, it helps build that confidence, helps you see you for what you are, and you sit there and go, yeah, I'm not at six figures yet, and I'm not where I need to be, but dang it, I'm getting there, right?
Yes, it helps so much in a mastermind feel. Like I was taking a lot of one-on-ones, was kind of how this was born. And let's say I was serving 20 one-on-one clients, and I had a VA that was helping, and a graphic designer was doing some stuff, and it just became kind of this really cool thing that we had created. But I was tired.
Sure.
And I was do overgiving like a lot of women do. And I was like, okay, there's a better way to do this. And the better way was that empowering and like them helping each other too, to kind of, yes, there are these really cool things that we can do for you, but you're going to have to agree to do some of it yourself.
Right. It's a two-way street for sure.
Yeah.
I remember like during COVID, obviously we've all had to reinvent and change during that. But I know for me, initially it was like, okay, good. I can reset. I can reevaluate things, step back. I don't have to go to every networking event, Leif. I don't have to do every fundraiser. You don't have to say yes to every board. And so I made this commitment to myself that moving forward into 2021, I was going to say no to more other people and other organizations maybe that I wasn't totally passionate about. And I was going to say yes to myself more. And that's a hard transition, easy to say, hard to do, but I'm working on it. Can you speak to that? I mean, that I think is hard for women because, like you said, it's easy just to keep taking it all on it. And then where does it end? You end up in this burned out position where you're like, then you can't give anything to anybody.
Oh man, do I have
Right?
a burned out story. So back to this like burnout thing that women experience, it's like a tired where you can't even describe tired, like mono and surgeries. And I've been there, like I know what that's like. And that is just the direct result of trying to do it all. It's the direct result of like trying to build something at all costs. And it's the wrong way. Like, I'm here to tell you, like, I built it, I know it, it's wrong, and so let me teach you how to build it right. And sometimes it's letting go. And something that you said, and Rachel Hollis says this, and I love that she says it. It's a bad word. Can I say it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, she says, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And I feel like I've implemented that so well this year, too. Like, if you even have an inkling that it's not a hell yes, then it's an absolute no. And the more you can come up with a guilt-free no, the closer you are to taking off the cape. And that's so important for women, especially women business owners, especially moms, especially women that want to build a legacy. Like, you've got to stop wearing that cape.
Yeah, the guilt-free no. I totally dig that. Oh my gosh, you got all these little nuggets that I just love. So obviously you've reinvented your company. You went from Big Sky Women to Legacy Consultants. You've shifted the business model for sure. I know you've probably shifted your team and all those kinds of things. So what do you see like right now, moving into 2021, what do you see for your business in 2021 now that hopefully the pandemic, we're not over it yet, but we're kind of starting to come out of it slow but sure. What do you see for 2021 for you?
Yeah, it's just so fun. I get to do all the things I want. Like, I would have never dreamed of coming and being on your podcast because it just didn't fit into the schedule, you know, of me like serving my clients to the bone per se. But what I love about what I'm creating now is it's kind of the letting go, letting the fun in, letting the joy in, building it from the heart space. Only with people that really are builders. And so it's just been such a great recreation for me because it's everything that I want. And it's like, do what I say. I think I said this to you,
Yeah.
Do what I say, not what I do. And for so long, I was telling other people what to do in their business, but I really wasn't following it. So now I feel like I am saying yes to the right things and I am going after what I want and I'm being the leader that I really desire to be, and I'm definitely building my business the right way now.
Awesome. Well, the thing I like about your business, the way that it's set up, is that for you and Scotty to be successful, these other gals got to be successful, right? So I like that. It's a good motivation. There's no hidden agenda. It's not like you're going to get rich and it's going to be successful just because you are the top of it or whatever. It's because you're investing your time, talents, energies, blood, sweat, and tears into these women so that they can achieve their goals, they can level up, and they can be everything that they want to be. And in return, you get what you want. So I love that. I think that's just a very clean, great motivation. There's no hidden agenda. I like that.
I love it. I love the transformation for them is so big. I mean, imagine even for yourself, you get time, energy, and money figured out. You win.
Right. Amen. Amen. Win-win. I've caught a comment here from one of the gals on the call. She says, yes, accept the right invitations. You don't have to accept all of them. And that's a powerful statement right there,
that's
man.
so good.
So good. So obviously you've had this reinvention. Things are going great. We talked about what's happening in your business now. What do you see, like, what's next? Everybody has to have something to kind of look forward to. I always say that's what keeps us, even as a kid. If I always had to have something to look forward to, like the next game or the next, sledding hill or whatever. I always had to have something to look forward to. So for you, what is it for you? What's next for you?
Yeah, like I have always preached time freedom and never really gotten to live it. So I'm really looking forward to that vacation on the beach and showing up to my kids' stuff. But I feel for me, there really is just the joy in writing the book and taking the speaking gigs I want to take and just having choices. I just feel like it all comes down to me for choosing to do the things I want and saying no to the things that I don't want. So I feel like there's so much power there when you get to choose and when you actually get to live the freedom that you desire instead of just teaching everybody else how to live it.
Sure. No, gosh, I love that. When I think about myself becoming an entrepreneur, and I used to be such a great employee, and I was scared to kind of go out on my own. And gosh, once I did it, it was so freeing, so self-empowering. I was sitting there going, man, I should have done this 10 years ago. You know what I mean? It's and I'm sure you hear that a lot from people. And
we as entrepreneurs definitely will work 80 hours for ourselves.
Right.
Work
hard for ourselves, absolutely.
And because it's a big deal, right? This thing that we're growing and this legacy that we want to pass on to our kids is something really big and powerful. So don't work yourself to the bone. But
right. No, it's true. I mean, I used to always chase and work hard. I would miss kids' programs and Christmas stuff, and I would miss ball games and all these different things because I was driving all over the countryside for somebody else's dream. I say that a lot, and I wouldn't do it from my own dream, and so I feel like for the longest time I ripped myself off, I ripped my family off, I didn't pursue the things I wanted to, and now I always say the good news is it's up to me, the bad news is it's all up to me, but it feels so empowering to be able to go, I'm either going to succeed or I'm going to fail, but I'm going to do it my way.
I love that. And how I say it too is you got to give up the good for the great.
Ooh.
Got to give up the good for the great. And the cool thing is entrepreneurs, they think they really embody and are happy that the psychology of the person at the top is what really creates the momentum. But people that aren't true entrepreneurs are scared that the psychology of the person at the top is what really matters.
Right.
Right. So you got to work on that.
Another question I had for you is, what's your favorite quote?
Ooh, my favorite quote. No one is you, and that is your superpower.
No one is you, and that is your superpower. So expound on that a bit.
Well, I've always loved that quote. I remember I spoke at a health coaching conference, and I gave a whole 45-minute presentation on that. It was the first one I'd ever given, and it's so powerful for me to think about. Nobody realizes how impactful it is. You and all your gifts is what we have to give the world, and how we're going to show up and serve. And not enough people take the risk to give their pretty package, to connect with people, to show up that way. And I feel that's sort of my gift to the world is I can show people how to do that.
Right. And show them instead of just telling them how to do it. I love it. So obviously we talked about kind of what's next and your why. We talked about the reinvention piece. I guess what would, your advice, again, I talked about this before we came on the air. So let's say I'm a struggling gal. I'm just trying to make things work. I'm a mom. I'm busy. I'd love to start a business. Where do I even start? How do I start a business? How do I change that mindset from being an employee to an entrepreneur? Could you speak to that a little bit?
It's a tough one. One step at a time.
Right, there you go.
I think one of the best books you can read to get in that mindset is I'm going to lose the guy's name, but it's about just money in general. I'm going to lose it.
That's
I can't
okay.
think of it.
What's
the book? Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm having the hardest time.
It's all good.
Okay, well let's go to a piece of advice instead.
There you go.
If you want to start a business, if you want to be an entrepreneur, what you have to know is it's slow growth. And the growth that really matters is the more you grow, the more your business is going to grow. People think that the growth is all about numbers, and that stuff matters, right? Numbers and business plans and social media, and that stuff matters. But to me, if you can go figure out the CEO mindset, leadership, the self-growth game, you will be way further ahead than if you focus on that other stuff.
Wow, that's really good. I was going to tell a quick story. I was telling you this before. So I have a client this past year who's an author, and she's just an incredible woman. I admire her dearly, but she hired me. She put a little thing on Facebook that said, hey, I need help marketing my book. And basically she's looking for like a publicist, which I have no idea how to do that. But all these people kept recommending me. So she reaches out and says, Leif, can you help me market my book? And I said to her, I can help you market the book. And I do that all day. That's not a big deal. I said, but what we really need to do is market you. We need to talk about you, your story of empowerment, why you write your book, what you're hoping to accomplish. And when I met her, like I was mentioning, she was very quiet, probably not unlike a lot of authors, and she was just kind of hunched over and just didn't have a ton of self-confidence. We spoke to that, but she had this amazing talent and she had a great message to get out. And so as we started kind of bringing her out, so to speak, I got her on the stage, I got her on radio and TV and on podcasts and interviews and just different groups that she could speak to and kind of work on building herself and work from the inside out. And so as I saw this transformation, this reinvention take place, by the end of the year, it became less about selling books for her and her making an impact. And so the cool thing was, by the end of the year, she was just this strong, powerful force talking about empowering women and young women and the things that she was doing. And the cool byproduct was she sold a lot of books, which she did not anticipate. But so that is exactly what happened with her. She built and developed on the inside. And so I was just so proud to be like a fly on the wall and be a small part of it. But that was, when people asked me what was my biggest success of 2020, that was it, was just being a part of that ride with her. And so it sounds like that's what you do with women too.
Oh, it's such a cool process. And you were just talking about authors in general. Like, I remember just that little bit of help is so important. So I really want you to think about this. Let's go way back to like when I was going to start Big Sky Women and I hadn't hired a coach yet. And I had this unwritten board of directors that we should all have. And I had hired someone to do a website, and like I hadn't hired anyone yet to do my social, but like I knew I was going to start this thing, right, for months, maybe even a year. And my trainer said something to me, and I hope she's listening. Bernadette, if you're watching, you should definitely know that you are such an impetus of change for me. And she said, Sheridan, you don't have to do everything perfectly to start talking about it. And I thought, what? Yes, I do have to have it all perfect. I have to have the fancy, shiny website, and I have to have the exact right messaging. And she's like, you don't even have a following yet. Like, you need to start talking about this.
Just go make a mess and we'll help you clean it up, right?
Right. And I think so many women get caught up in that social media, website, the right opt-in, the right... I think what we need to know and what we need to do is like get your messy message out there and make those connections and then worry about the rest.
Really good, really good. A friend of mine just chimed in. He says, great information. You were very inspirational.
Well,
so
thank
very
you.
well done, very well done. Well, as we start to wrap things up, just remember this is Reinvention with Leif. Today we've got Sheridan with Legacy Consultants. We're all about stories of reinvention. So if you know of somebody, you know of a story you'd love to hear, we'd love to bring their story to light. So as we get ready to roll here, so if somebody wants to get involved with you, they want to get involved with Scotty and with Legacy Consultants, how do they do that?
Well, just shoot us a message and we will definitely have a conversation about where you are in your life and business and see if it's a good fit. And we have a free community as well. It's called Live Your Legacy. So check us out on Facebook there as well.
So you can find you on Facebook, they can find you online, they can find you all over the place.
Instagram, right? Facebook. Now this Clubhouse thing.
I know, right? Everybody keeps inviting me. I got to figure that one out.
Okay.
So as we walk out the door on this one, tell me, this is the question I've been dying to ask is, how did you come up with the name Legacy? Why did you choose that? Because to me, that's a powerful term. So what does that mean to you?
Building a legacy to me means like you have something to pass on to the people that really matter to you. And so I think as a woman, it's so much more powerful even that I have all these girls and my boys watching me, and I want them to know that like I'm doing this for them.
That's
and
really good.
yeah, and I'm like breaking barriers and building something really cool. And it's about wealth, and it's just about legacy. I mean, I
Sure.
couldn't think of a better word to describe it than family and legacy and history. And just like, I'm here to make a huge impact in the world, and I hope that they see it and they do the same.
That's a great example to leave for your kids, right? I always say, well, you can leave money for family members and things like that, and that's something you can leave for them. But a legacy is what you leave inside of them, and that is so powerful. So I'm so thrilled that you came on here. I
Thank
feel
you.
honored, honestly, to
Thank
have you.
you.
I think this has been a powerful 45 minutes or whatever it's been. So again, thanks Sheridan, and thank you, Mark and Charlie with King West Media. We look forward to the next time we're all together. Reinvention with Leif and Sheridan Cotrell signing out. Have a great day.